I'm Laura Ingram. This is the Ingram Angle from Washington tonight. Well, this says vim and vigor, like an octogenarian president who's ready to throw down. Yeah, we have the details on the Biden interview gone horribly awry. And Attorney General Garland defends the left's lawfare against Trump today on Capitol Hill. The twisted sound, that's ahead. And tonight, is this cop or is he a bulldozer? An Oklahoma police officer seemingly defying the laws of physics to catch a fleeing suspect. Tonight, Jimmy Fallon has the details on this viral video and a lot more. But first, Biden's border head fake. That's the focus of tonight's angle. Now, this is Joe Biden's border legacy in three names. The first one, David Antonio Calderon, an illegal alien who was freed from prison in El Salvador and soon after crossed into the United States. He's now accused of murdering a woman in West Virginia. By the way, the victim's body was burned, almost beyond recognition. Weeks before that, Calderon allegedly attacked two homeless people with a baseball bat. He has an extensive criminal history in his home country. And then there's this lovely Marvin Dionel Perez Lopez. He came to the United States illegally in January from Guatemala and has an immigration court date in 2027. He was arrested after allegedly grabbing an 11-year-old girl off the street and forced her into his van, where he raped her. And of course, you can't forget about Jose Ibarra, the illegal from Venezuela, accused of killing Georgia nursing student Laken Riley. She was out for a jog when Ibarra allegedly attacked and raped her. He's accused of disfiguring her skull. Ibarra pled not guilty just days ago. And we won't ever know the names of the thousands of illegals who were kept conveniently secret by the Biden administration after they were arrested. Or even the Chinese nationals who were arrested trying to breach U.S. military bases, or the Jordanian names. Who are these people who are trying to get into Quantico? The crime epidemic among illegals, the national security concerns, the billions this is costing taxpayers, has driven this to the top of voters' concerns. Even the New York Times had to grudgingly admit that Trump's approach to the border and his mass deportation plans resonate now with voters. Wow. Remember the old liberal line, so you want to round up millions of people and try to deport them? Well, now Americans apparently saying, si se puede. And of course they blame Biden bigly, as they should. Hispanic Americans who are here legally are just as traumatized, by the way, as other Americans.
In El Paso, it's become a huge problem to where, we've had break-ins. I've been here for 30 years. Yeah, my whole life, I've lived here. And, this is not something that we've really had to, worry about, Like, hey, we got to make sure everything's locked up. Or, hey, make sure, when you're walking around, if you're in the dark, be careful, because you just don't know anymore. It's scary.
You bet it's scary, but voters are also angry. And they blame the guy who opened the spigots for dozens of countries. The guy who gave corrupt foreign leaders a gift. The easy way to export their problems here by just emptying their prisons and insane asylums. That this endangered Americans or somehow overwhelmed our system, our schools, our healthcare, that didn't matter to Biden and his open borders, America-hating fanatics who work for him. Because their sole goal was to fundamentally change this country. Remember, the country that they consider systemically racist and wicked. So they flooded America with what they hope will be future Democrat voters in order to create a permanent majority. And what will that do? Well, that's going to render your vote meaningless. And yes, Democrats, every single one of them, was honest. They want illegals to vote as soon as possible. Oh yeah, that's coming. That's the plan. Thus, nothing that Biden said today about the border matters. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's an election year. I've got no intention of limiting the number of people coming here, let alone stopping asylees from gaming the system. But you've got to give his speechwriters some credit. They're trying to turn the tables on Republicans. It's hilarious.
I've come here today to do what the Republicans in Congress refuse to do, and take the necessary steps to secure our border. I'm going to pass Republican obstruction and use the executive authorities available to me as president, do what I can on my own address the border.
Hey, shut the fuck up. You're the one that fucked the border up, bitch.
We are allowing asylum claimants to come to the ports of entry using our CBP One app in a lawful, safe, and orderly way. When people access the CBP One app and come to the port of entry, they've been screened and vetted before they arrive at the port of entry.
Use the app. Illegal. Come on. These details of this are just terrible. And the supposed threshold numbers they cite are people are going to be tracked or monitored. They're never going to be tracked or monitored. And after the election, they're just going to throw the borders wide open again. Now, even Mayorkas, when you were listening to that and with Neil Cavuto, was kind of struggling to remember all the rules.
If we experience 7 consecutive calendar days where the average number of encounters each day is below 1,500, then 14 days after that 7th day, we will reopen. And if in fact the number of encounters thereafter is 2,500 or more on average for 7 consecutive days, we have the authority to again implement this law.
Okay. Thereafter, this is the same guy who said the border invasion wasn't a crisis, and he was impeached for violating his duties to enforce U.S. immigration law. Now, check out the numbers at the border right now. It's criminal. 5,200 a day, 5,000 plus last week, daily average in April, 4,200, and that's not including the gotaways. Can't see how this moves the needle for Biden at all, given these numbers.
It's a bit of a 180 from his previous policy of allowing open immigration to flood in. The fact that Biden addressed this now, at this point in time, 5 months before the election, really sounds like political posturing to me.
Yeah, they always think Americans are stupid, don't they? They're not. We have to never lose sight of this simple fact. Everything the Democrats do between now and Election Day is designed for them to keep power. Our Constitution, our laws, norms, they always love to talk about norms. None of it matters to them. And neither does the suffering of the American people. It's about winning at all costs so that they can return to their primary objective, reordering America into a place that you won't recognize and where you won't want to live. Right now, it looks like there are still enough of us who love this country enough to save it. And that's the angle. Joining me now from the border is Fox's Bill Melugin. Bill, what are you saying tonight?
Laura, it's wild. We continue to see single adult men from another hemisphere away randomly showing up here at the Southern California border and entering the United States without any resistance. Take a look at what we saw this morning. 1:30 a.m. out here in Hacumba, California. While everyone was sleeping, this is what was happening. People from all around the planet showing up here very nonchalantly and crossing illegally. This is one of the hot spots here in SoCal. They just walked past the Mexican military, then walked through a gap in the border wall. Again, no resistance. Most of these guys were from countries in Africa and Asia, some of them from these special interest countries that DHS is supposed to do additional vetting on for terror concerns. There was one single Border Patrol agent out here trying to corral these hundreds of people who crossed. The migrants were asking us where they were, where's America, and where's Border Patrol. Take a listen. Where are you guys from? What country? Mauritania, from Africa. Yes. Yeah. And why'd you guys come to the United States? What country? Nepal. Nepal? Yeah. All of you from Nepal? Yeah. No English. No English. What country? Vietnam. Vietnam. What country are you from? Mauritania. Mauritania? Yeah. Mauritanians? Yeah. Where are you guys from? What country? India. This is America. See the red lights? Yeah. Border Patrol. No. San Diego. See the lights? And Laura, I know you'll have some thoughts about this. Take a look. I saw some of these migrants after they crossed illegally posing in front of the border wall here, taking selfies and photos, celebrating after they crossed illegally here, violating America's laws, using the border wall essentially as a prop for their social media posts, just showing these people really have no fear of consequences whatsoever. And back out here live, we are hours away from
Biden the one that's breaking the law.
taking effect tonight. That is supposed to happen at 12:01 midnight Eastern time, 9 p.m. Pacific. We will be out here on the ground in Tacoma to see if there's any changes happening out here whatsoever. Laura, I can tell you, some of our Border Patrol contacts out here in the San Diego sector tell us they've gotten no guidance from their leadership so far, and it's just